welcome to the first river vlog of the season. Just as I say that, I've had a little knock on one of the rods. Yeah, it's middle of July now. I tend not to come up the first couple of weeks anyway, so I always think the rivers are going to be quite busy. And in my experience, they don't fish that well generally the first couple of weeks. And that said, I've also been waiting for perfect conditions. The river's very low, has been, like everywhere in the country, there's not been much rain of late. And yes, I've been hanging on waiting for some rain to rise the river, and it's not happened. And I've been sitting on my hands. I really wanted to get up here. Combination of, you've got the cost of fuel now, which is also, I'm sure I'm not the only angler who the cost of fuel is affecting their fishing. I mean, certainly for me, this is, I worked out while I was driving up, fuel is £72 for the round trip today. So an expensive day on the river. Nonetheless, I couldn't not come up. I was just, it was just killing me sitting at home, not fishing the river, knowing that some barbel are being caught. So yeah, usual thing, had a good journey up here. If you leave home at 3 in the morning, you should get a good journey up here. I think of the 175 miles, 140 of them are cruise control on motorways. I got here at 5:45. Worrying thing is I've driven probably 1.5 miles up the river. I haven't passed one car in the car parks. So I'm guessing the locals know something I don't. The plan today, I've dropped into a peg where I've caught before. I've done my usual thing, put a little bit of bait. I'm not putting a lot of bait out, but I've put a bit of ground bait out on some spots. Well, I say some spots. The river changes every year when you come up here. Obviously there was floods in the winter. The snags that used to be in this swim are nothing like it was last year, or certainly the last few years. The trees have totally changed. There are still snags in here. Whether the fish are still sitting in there or not, I don't know. So I've got one rod fishing over towards a spot that you used to pick up fish from, and the other rods I'm leaving in the middle where it's probably a bit deeper. My wife's putting ground bait out. I've had a couple of small fish rise, so it has attracted some fish. Whether it's attracted barbel or not, I don't know. But it's the usual tactic, is the swim feeder on one rod with a 4-foot hook link, and I think I've got a oozing pellet on that one. And the rod in the middle, I've been trickling in some E-lips pellets, and got an E-lip hook bait. So I'm only going to give it a couple of hours. If I don't pick up a fish, I'm going to move to somewhere where the river's probably deeper. It's going to get very hot again today. In an ideal world, I'd get all my fish by lunchtime and probably go home, because I think between lunchtime and 7 PM you're going to struggle, given I've left home at 3, so I've been up at 2:30 to sit here and then fish 7 till 10 and then drive home. I've done it a couple of times before, and it's all I can do to keep my eyes open, so that's dangerous. So hopefully I can find some fish this morning before 2 o'clock. I think it's up to about 24 degrees by 2 o'clock. It's already 17 degrees now. I'm not sure why I've got this body warmer on. I don't need this on. This will be coming off in a second. But yeah, anyway, as I always say, enough waffle, and we'll see how we do. See if we can nick some fish and put something on the camera. So speak to you in a bit. Okay, well, welcome back. Obviously I'm in a different swim, as you can see from all the background. Got my shorts on as well. It's absolutely baking now. Yeah, this morning, that swim I was in, I said I'd give it a couple of hours, didn't I? So I think I put the first ball of bait out in that swim just after 6. Didn't cast out until 6:45. And yeah, I was getting little knocks on the tips all the time, straight away. Probably small fish, but nonetheless fish in this swim. And about 7:45, a robin landed on my rod, I got my phone out. I thought, oh, that'll make a nice little clip on the flog, and literally I pushed the button to record. There was a big bang on the rod tip, barbel on. So that didn't turn out to be a good video of a robin, but nonetheless, barbel on. Played him. Yeah, small fish, probably about 4 pounds, I guess. No need to weigh them. So yeah, unlike carp fishing, you want to get your baits out as quick as you can back on the spots. It's just imperative to rest the barbel, especially in this heat. So the barbel's resting in the net, and I just put out a couple of catapults of ground bait back on the spot. Finally took the barbel out of the net, unhooked him, still left him in the net resting because he was pretty exhausted. Put some feed in the old feeder, cast out, fish took it on the drop. I hadn't even got the rod on the rod rest. It's just as I was putting it down, the fish took the hook bait. I can't remember if that was the bigger one or not. I think that was about 6 pound again. I didn't weigh it or photograph it. It's just too hot. So same thing again really. Put some ground bait out on that spot while the fish rested, unhooked him, baited up, put the rod out again on the drop. Another take. So a third fish. Again about the same size as the first one, about 4 pounds. So and that's what I've said. When the barbel are in your swim, you know when they are, because that's what it's like. You can have a manic. I think in that peg, I've had a manic hour and a half where I had 10 fish, and then they're gone. So that was it. 3 fish from there. Persevered for another hour or so. Was still getting funny little knocks, so I changed to a smaller bait on one rod, and then had a chub on there. He was quite battered up. He's been got by a pike by the look of him. Both sides were a bit manked up. I had him, then thought I'd go and move swim, so wound in, had a walk down all the swims in that from that car park, and made a note of some of the spots where the water's clear, where there's gravel and drop-offs, and quite looked like the look of swim or peg 70. So that had definitely gravel about quarter of the way out, and then a big drop off on the right hand side, probably a third of the way out, then a big drop off. So I earmarked that as one for the future. Then drove down to where I wanted to go, and there was people in there. Checked some other swims that I fancied, people were in there. Then drove up to another couple of pegs that I fancied, but again people were in there. So yeah, it's quite busy. I thought, you know what, I'm going to have to go back to where I was and maybe try that peg 70 that I looked at. Got back to the car park I was in, no one was in there. So a knock on my rod. First knock since I've been in this swim. Yeah, I went in the car park and no cars parked in there. Walked down, nobody in the pegs I was in. Walked along to peg 70 that I fancied, somebody in it. So yeah, they were parked in the next car park along. So basically I'd haul all my gear bar my rod bag, so I just thought I'd keep walking with my gear on my back. And I've ended up here. If I'm honest, I've never fished this peg. I just know the water's deeper up this end. I'm not that confident. We're in full sunlight now. I just don't fancy bites when it's this hot in full sunlight. Although, as I've said, it is deep in the middle. I've come here, had a little lead around like you would with the carp, and it is quite deep in the middle. And then you get a bit rocky, and there's a couple of nice sand or silt patches. So I'm just trying to fish on those and see what happens. But yeah, nothing yet. I've seen the odd fish show now, so I guess I've been in this swim about an hour now. I was walking and driving for nearly 2 hours. So we'll see what happens. We'll give this a couple of hours and knock on the other rod now. I think it's small fish just knocking at the baits. But at least there's fish in the area now. There was nothing when I got here. So yeah, anyway, I'll update the vlog in a couple of hours. Maybe in another swim, or maybe not. Maybe I've had some fish. So yeah, see you in a bit. Right, let's wrap up this vlog then. So yeah, moved into this swim, and when I was talking to you I said I was getting little knocks and things on the rods, and yeah, probably 20 minutes after I turned the GoPro off, rod hooped over. Nice barbel, good fight. Didn't get the camera up and set the tripod up and everything because it wasn't a PB and it's just too hot for the fish, so quickly weighed him and took a photograph on the net. So just quickly weighed him, 9.5 pounds, took one photograph of him on the mat and put him back. That was that for about half an hour. Then same rod again, 6 or 7 pounder, so another barbel, so that was nice. Then I thought I'd try meat, and was getting little knocks on the meat and missing them. Then I had a big knock on the meat, missed it and the meat had gone, so I put a bigger chunk of meat on. Funny bite and then a big drop back, and yeah, an eel. I haven't caught an eel since I was a kid, to be honest, and I didn't like them then, and yeah, I don't like them now. It's just end up, as soon as you try and get hold of it, it wraps itself all round your arm, tangles all your line up, just a nightmare. But yeah, put him back, and yeah, now we're just gonna wrap it up really. 3 o'clock, gonna call it a day. Got that long drive home. I'm 100% certain if you stayed here between 7 and 9, 9:30, whatever you can stay on here till tonight before it gets dark, you would catch fish, you know. But I just don't want to stay and then be driving home when I was up at 3 o'clock this morning. So at the end of the day, I've had 5 barbel with chub and an eel. You know, I'm happy with that. That was worth me 175 miles each way, 72 quid of fuel. It was still worth it. You can't catch barbel where I live. So I've had an enjoyable day. Chap walked down from up there. He's from Manchester. Him and his mate are down. They're staying up the road in Bewdley. They fished yesterday, had 2 barbel. Stayed over, fished today. They've had no barbel, just some roach and I don't think he said had chub, roach and perch is all they've had today. And they're staying over again and going to give it another go tomorrow. So in the scheme of things, I've got to be happy with my fish, you know. Not sure when I'll be back again. Hopefully when it's a bit cooler and perhaps the river's in better condition. You know, a good thing in this swim, as I say, I've never fished this swim. What I do know now, in the middle it's quite deep. 2 rod lengths out, roughly to the right, there's a ledge and then it just drops off. That's quite deep. And the same to the left, it suddenly drops off. 100% sure if you was in here in the evening fishing those spots and you've been trickling baiting in the day, you'd get a fish. So that's one for the future, written down on my phone, and it's up here as well. So another swim to give a go. Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed it, and yeah, thanks for watching. I'm up to about, I think, 233 subscribers now, and the barbel vlogs generally do get good viewing. That said, I did a float fishing for carp, and that's done really well. In a month that's had 2,500 views. Really, really well in the scheme of things. Compared to Calder and the professionals, it's done rubbish, but compared to my normal carp vlogs, it's done really well. Anyway, see you on the bank soon. Take care.